From Launch Complex 39 at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, this is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 3 hours and holding. We are now in the final 5 hours of the countdown for the launch of Space Shuttle Endeavour on a NASA-sponsored microgravity research flight. The countdown is being controlled from Firing Room 1 at the Launch Control Center, and we are on schedule for a liftoff at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time this morning. This is the 11th flight for Endeavour and the 77th mission of the Space Shuttle program since launches began in April 1981, 14 years ago. And the 52nd since return to flight in 1988. This STS-77 mission has a planned duration of 10 days, 0 hours, 37 minutes if all goes as planned, with the landing expected to occur at Kennedy Space Center on the morning of May 29th at approximately 7:07 a.m. Eastern Time, assuming an on-time launch today. The 5-member flight crew of Endeavour are being awakened at this time at the astronaut quarters, and in approximately a half hour they will be entering the dining room for breakfast, after which they will have a weather briefing and receive a status on the countdown activity. They will then go to the suit-up room and don their launch and entry suits. And at 3:10 a.m. they will depart the crew quarters for the 20-minute ride out to Launch Pad 39B at the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. Weather-wise, we continue to have very favorable conditions for a launch today. Just a 10% chance of not meeting our launch weather criteria due primarily to the slight chance of an offshore shower out in the ocean moving onshore around the Cape vicinity, but with the 2.5-hour launch window, there is ample time to wait for a shower to pass. And here are all 6 of our STS-77 crew members ready for breakfast and our traditional cake on the table. At the end, mission specialist Dan Bursch, our flight engineer on this mission. Curt Brown, our pilot on this flight, will be busy with numerous rendezvous activities, along with our commander, John Casper, making his 4th flight into space today. Mission specialist Mario Runco making his 3rd trip into space. Mission specialist previously in 1991 and 1993. And Andy Thomas from Australia, our payload commander during the flight from Australia, and Canadian mission specialist Marc Garneau. This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 3 hours and holding, where we're in the suit-up room now with the astronauts. We just saw our commander, John Casper, and here is pilot Curt Brown. And here is mission specialist Andy Thomas. Our commander once again, John Casper. And here is Dan Bursch making his 3rd flight. He flew previously on STS-51 in 1993 and STS-68 in 1994. Here is Canadian mission specialist Marc Garneau. He'll be doing a number of microgravity research experiments, particularly with the aquatic research facility. And here is Mario Runco making his 3rd trip into space. He was on STS-44 in 1991 and STS-54 in 1993. Again, and here are our astronauts now, just leaving the suit-up room, headed for the elevator on the third floor of the operations and checkout building located in the KSC industrial area. And Director of Flight Crew Operations Dave Leesma is with them. Bob Cabana will be flying the weather reconnaissance this morning. And here they come. This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 2 hours, 41 minutes, 52 seconds and counting, where we've just seen the STS-77 astronauts come off the elevator on the fixed service structure, and they will be walking across the orbiter access arm to board Endeavour. Mission specialist and Canadian astronaut Marc Garneau in the picture now, making his second trip into space. Here in the firing room, we're getting ready now for the final pre-flight alignment of the inertial measurement units on board Endeavour.
CGNC OTC. Go ahead. I'll kick off a 5 down. CDR OTC. CDR, go. Stand by to perform final air-to-ground voice check.
Jim, the MMT is working, no issues. You're cleared to launch.
Copy that. And Endeavour, Zeus, you and your band have a great mission, and we'll see you back here in 9 days.
Jim, we thank you for all the great work you folks have done, and we're ready to go fly.
And NTD, you're clear to launch.
DLT in work.
CDR OTC, reconfigure heaters.
CDR in work.
And we're now activating the firing chain on the solid rocket booster and external tank range safety system.
Yeah, let's just go for orbiter access arm retract.
Firing chain is armed. Sound suppression water system is activated. Range safety command systems are armed. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Endeavour to develop the practical and the beneficial aspects of space.
Roll program, Houston.
Roger, roll, Endeavour.
Houston now controlling. Endeavour's underway on its 11th trip to space. Currently rolling on course for an east-northeast trajectory away from the Kennedy Space Center toward a 39-degree inclination, 153 nautical mile altitude orbit. Endeavour already traveling 430 miles per hour. Altitude 2 miles. 3 engines on board Endeavour have now throttled back to 2/3 throttle to prepare the spacecraft to pass through the area of maximum air pressure and go supersonic. Endeavour speed now 700 miles per hour, altitude 4.5 miles, 2.5 miles east-northeast of the Kennedy Space Center.
Endeavour, go at throttle up.
Go throttle up.
3 engines on Endeavour now back at full throttle. Altitude 10 miles. Endeavour traveling 1,400 miles per hour, 8 miles east-northeast of the Kennedy Space Center. 1.5 minutes since launch, Endeavour's already used more than 2.25 million pounds of propellant. The spacecraft weighs less than half of what it did at liftoff. One minute 50 seconds since liftoff. Endeavour now traveling 2,700 miles per hour. Altitude 24 miles. 24 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. Flight controller standing by for burnout and jettison of the twin solid rockets.
Houston, Endeavour has you loud and clear. What a ride. Boy, that was great, and we're going to work now.
Sounds good, Endeavour, and we're right there with you.
Bill, are you getting our downlink?
Yes, we have a good TV on the middeck.
Okay, good. And I'm going to hold the needle up to you. And as I was pushing it in, I felt a little resistance. I thought it was the septum that I was going through, but you can see what happened. I don't know if I'm too close right now. You can tell me to back up or not.
In view, in this view, the Kennedy Space Center is the shuttle landing facility runway, visible as the long mark there on Cape Canaveral. Endeavour currently at an altitude of 176 statute miles.